because I know y'all want to get to your mission
Songs,
today.
yeah.
You want to get to your song about integers today? So Zach can see a couple of those too. All right, here we go. First thing I'm going to do, Chastity, is what?
You're gonna put plus 20
Plus 20 on.
under the 20 and under the 16.
Yes. Very
Oh,
good.
I know it's not 20. Start.
Listen to me, look. Listen. Everybody look at me. You've got to know your steps, okay? You've got to recognize your steps. We've had these a long time, and we've worked on several times, haven't we? So it's just like I told you, forget about that fraction for a minute. You know, back in the day, what would you have done? You've got to get rid of, listen, your mission is get that variable alone. So we've got to get rid of what's next to it first. Then what's beside it, remember? That coefficient comes last. The coefficient is last.
I
The
thought you
division.
did the 16 equals 3/4 n minus 3/4 n minus 20 minus 3/4 n.
But you don't want to put your variable in first.
I did like,
Save the variable's the last thing you solve for. You've got to get rid of everything besides your variable, remember? Okay? That's the last thing we're going for. Okay, so first of all, we've got to get rid of this. Okay, we're going to shorten our problem. That's what we want. So what is this? We have integers here.
4.
4. Okay, 4 equals what?
3/4 n.
n. Okay, now I'm back to my multiplicative inverse.
Then you 4 over 1.
4 over 30.
Okay? 4 over 1 times what?
4 over 30.
4 over 3. Okay, make sure this is different. Okay, then I have to do this side by what?
4 over 3.
4 over 3. We're going to put that in. Okay, so there we go. We get rid of all this. Okay, we have, okay, n is what?
16 over 3.
16 over 3. We have what?
Improper fraction.
5 over 1/3. 5 over 30 something.
Don't you?
You just divide.
It's an improper fraction. So don't you just divide?
Yes, and what would I get?
5 and 1/3. 1 and 1/3.
Okay, 5 and what?
1/3.
So we have n equals 5 and 1/3.
It's a lot easier.
A lot easier.
Yeah.
I got
Me, no, you can do this. You can do this. Listen to me. The biggest thing you've got to know about these, do not get frustrated. Look at me. Be confident. You know why you're supposed to be confident? Have you had all this before?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not new. Right? The biggest thing is you've got to recognize the steps. And you've got to remember whatever you do on one side,
have to do on
that's
Do
where,
on the
I'm
other.
telling you, that's where you're going to mess up. I can feel it now. That's where you're going to get it. Did you do it that time, Cole? You've got to remember to whatever you do. It's got to cross that equal sign. It's got to cross the equal sign, both of them. Okay? How much time? Okay, we're looking good. All right, let's work one more. Okay. All right, let's do one a little bit. Okay, here's another fraction. You know when you have another fraction up there, we're going to eventually have to get a what? LCD. You've got to have an LCD up there. Alright, so first thing first, like I said, cover it up if you have to. Remember, the first thing you would do,
Get rid of the 1.
get rid of the 1. Okay, does that help you to cover it up? Think about it. Okay, cover it up if you have to. Okay, so first thing I've got to do is put a positive or a negative 1/2 on both sides.
Negative.
Good. Okay, so I write my original. Okay, so we have 13/16. Okay, minus 1/2 equals what?
3/8 over m.
3/8 m
Minus
plus 1/2.
Oh.
Now
minus 1/2.
Okay, I added this to
Oh, I
my
see.
original equation.
And then don't that X out?
Yes. Okay, so you see where we did this? Everybody stop for a second. Just listen. I had to do a minus 1/2 on both sides. Remember how we used to do that? We do it over here. Don't forget the equal sign. You've got to do it on both sides. Write your original equation and put it after that. Okay? have this, so what are we gonna do? X that out, we're through with that. Okay, so now we have, what? 13 over 16 minus 1/2 equals 3/8
3/8
m. Okay, now I have, look at me. You just had this on a quiz. Subtracting fractions. In order to subtract a fraction, I must have what? LCD. See, do you see the rules? You got to know steps and the rules when you get to them. If you'll go step by step, don't look at it as a whole, take it one step at a time. One step. One. Okay? So here we go. We've got to find an LCD for what?
16.
So what is my LCD there?
16.
Okay? And here we go. We know now the LCD is 16. Okay? Now, in order to, what I do with this 13?
Bring it down.
Bring it down. That's good to go. Okay, now minus. I had to do 2 times what to get 16?
8.
8. 1 times 8 is
8.
8. Equals, don't forget to bring this down, 3/8 m. Okay, right sideways now. Okay, what is 13 minus 8?
5.
Okay, so we have what?
5 16ths.
Equals
3/8 m.
3/8 m. Okay, now I'm finally at the what? Inverse.
Inverse.
Now it's simple. Okay, so we had to subtract fractions, but then inverse we do what? Multiply. Okay? And when we multiply fractions, we can common factor out. Not when we subtract. Subtraction is what? Get them together now. LCD. Alright, so here we go. So what am I going to put on both sides?
8. 6 over 3.
8 over 3. That's right. Whatever's next. My coefficient. What is my coefficient? What is the coefficient?
16.
Remember, it's your coworker. It helps your variable out. What is it? Right
3.
here. It's always going to be the number next to your variable. Okay, so we have 8/3 on both sides. Don't forget, whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other. Okay? When I put that, that means multiplication. That's parentheses. Okay, so now we get to 1 all that out, and we have what? What can I do with this 8 and a 16?
2.
Okay, 8 becomes what?
1.
16 becomes
2.
2. Okay, now 1 times 5.
5.
6.
Uh-oh. 5. Okay, and what is 3 times 2?
6.
6. Equals m. And put your variable first. You have m equals what?
6.
5, 6.
I can use some stuff. I get that.
Okay, a
I
little
get
bit
that.
easier. Y'all sound a little better on that one.
Yes, ma'am.
A little bit. Do you see the steps? Okay, if you can do the steps, that's it. Okay? Just do one step at a time. Then look at me. Say you get to this problem and you're in the middle of it. You're having trouble. Okay, you've done something wrong. You don't know what you've done. Should you try to figure that out? No. Start over. Completely start over. Because 9 times out of 10, when you start over, you're going to find what you missed. Instead of sitting there for 10 minutes trying to figure out what you did wrong. We'll correct that later. Okay? But what you need to do is start all the way over. Okay? And that will help you. All right, now, let me turn it on for a second.